Hi friends, this is Peggy Noe from prettypapercards.com. I'm here today with my little Yorkshire Terrier Ellie, and she's got her green bow. She's all ready for St. Patty's Day, even though it's still about a week and a half away. And welcome, we're so glad you're here. I'm just gonna check over there we are. So good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by today. We have some fun stuff planned, and we are going to use some butterflies. The butterflies are the new big thing for March, and they speak of spring, which is coming up. I noticed it's still 2 weeks away, but it feels like spring here in San Diego. In fact, I have a little daffodil that Ellie, I think, kind of likes the daffodil. She liked it before, but now I guess she doesn't like it. She smelled it once and doesn't like it anymore. Hi Anthony, hi Linda, good to see you guys. My husband bought me some daffodils, but I have two bulbs out back that I'm trying to get to grow, and they haven't bloomed yet, but they're trying to. So I'm looking forward to that, and so we're looking forward to spring here at our house. And I've been playing a lot with the butterflies and thinking about spring and thinking about my next class to go for the month of March. And I have something really special for my class to go. I've never really used this in a class to go because it's pretty special to me. My Easter classes that I do here at home, usually, before in the non-COVID era, we would make this card, but I wanted to give all of you a chance to make it, and so it is this cute little lamb card. Is that not so cute? Let me get him back over here. And he has little feet, and here's his back, and he has a little tail. I think I'm going to put some cotton on his tail. But what we're going to do is we are going to make a flock of 4 little lambs for my class to go for March, and you're the first ones I've told about it. So the way, all the details I'm going to be posting over the weekend and will be on my blog on Monday. I'll be sending my newsletter, but if you email me separately now at Peggy@prettypapercards.com, I put it up above in the little, up above there where my picture is, and email me and I'll get you all the info. But I wanted to give you just that little sneak peek because this is the first time I've ever put my little lamb card out into the world, and we're gonna do a flock now, which is kind of fun. So I'm gonna put Ellie down because we have a lot to do today, and one big thing that I want to talk to you about is did you know we're getting a brand new catalog? Yes, it's time. Whoops. It's time for the annual catalog, a new one. They're doing it a month earlier this year. And you know what that means when we get a new catalog is that the in colors for the previous 2 years go away. And so I put them down here. I've made some little papers of them because they're so beautiful. And if you like these colors, if you need anything from these colors, many of the things are already on low inventory because people know it's almost time. And I want to give you a heads up. So the colors are Rococo Rose, Seaside Spray. They've been beautiful colors. Pretty Peacock. You can't really even see my writing in there, can you? Terracotta Tile and Purple Posy. And they will not be available after May 3rd will be the last day. But if you need something from these colors, and here are the stamp pads. There was a Pretty Posy stamp pad for a while, but it had some issues, and so they just discontinued it. So Pretty Peacock has been a favorite of so many. And here is the cardstock piece. So if you need anything from these in colors, like an ink refill, there are coordinating ribbons, and what else? I wrote some stuff down here. Stampin' Blends. Some of them have Stampin' Blends. There are markers. I know, Anthony, nobody's ready for Pretty Peacock to go away. So if you want more of any of it, I'm serious, get it like now in the next couple days, because I saw that some other demonstrators are mentioning it to their people. And like I said, I looked just before I came on, and many of the things, I think it was the card stocks, were low on inventory. So they may be, all of it may be completely gone by next week. So you can't say I didn't tell you. Okay, so today we are going to make some blended, hello Abel, good to see you, Allison. So today we are going to, you knew we'd play with the butterflies, didn't you? But we're going to use, the basic thing about today's Facebook Live is we're going to play with blending using our new blending brushes, and they are so pretty. I don't know if you've had a chance to see them, but those are, it looks not like little bristles, but look at them. They're just so tiny. I mean, you could use it on your face. I've got ink on mine, so I wouldn't do that, but it could be some rouge, right? Some blush. But we're going to use one of the blending brushes. They come in a pack of 3 with our butterfly Brilliance bundle today. And I want to show you some of the things that we can do. And I'm going to show you now. The card we're going to make is right here. I am in love with it. I was shocked at how gorgeous it came out, and I think it's really because of the colors and the butterflies. So this panel right here is this butterfly held over and blended on top of, and it creates these images. So we've got 4 blended butterflies, and then I used the one that I blended with because it was all covered with the color. And we've got 2 other little baby ones and the word happy. And so we're going to get started. Let's blend. So here are all the parts that I need for my card. And we're going to start with the blending. Hi, Kay, good to see you. And the piece I've used for blending is 2 3/4 by 5.5. And what I've done, I'm not going to do any of the big shot work today on live because I think it's going to take long enough just to look at what we're doing. So I'm using Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm just going to put it out here. Oops, I got a little bit on my finger. And I'm going to leave room, hopefully, for 4 butterflies, tipped just different ways. So I have the one that I've cut with one of the butterfly dies, okay? And we're just going to put it however you want, just kind of at an angle, and you start to tap and get a little color on your brush, and you don't even have to worry about it being too dark. The main thing is do not move the butterfly, okay? Because this is what's making the pretty image. So we need to keep the butterfly where the butterfly is, and we're just going to blend over this butterfly. And actually, I notice that I can get pretty much ink on there. And I have to hold it and go back. And it's also getting the pretty blended color on the basic white paper there. It's so, isn't it beautiful? I mean, oops, I moved it a little bit. Okay, if you move it, you just replace it by by looking closely at where you held it before. Okay, it's a little bit tricky to get all the little corners. I did use kind of a smallish butterfly. Okay, let's see. See, that turned out so cute. I'll hold it up. Isn't that darling? I love it. And so I'm going to put another one right. I think I'll have this one go here, and see how our actual butterfly that's been die cut is starting to be colored. And we just can't waste it, so we have to use it on our project. And so it's kind of a no-brainer. It's really easy to do. You can put your finger right here on the brush. They're easy to use. They're lightweight. You get 3 in a package, and I think it's $10 or less. So it's a good value. Didn't want to move it. And there's so much you can do with it. I am not really talented at it. A lot of people know how to blend colors together just beautifully. there's our second one. Okay, and let's put a third one down here. Yes, it's easy. It's really easy to do. It just doesn't take much work at all. But I think it has just such a beautiful result. And it's a perfect background piece to a butterfly card. And it's soft. Let's see, that one came out great too. Isn't that just neat? And then I'm going to try to fit one more in here, down at the bottom like this. I mean, you could almost just sit here all day and blend butterflies. We're kind of using the butterfly as a mask, aren't we? Kind of a butterfly mask. Oops, I keep moving it a little bit. I don't want to do that, because I want to make sure to get color in all the little crevices, because this butterfly is so detailed and so pretty. Let's see. Well, I think I'm just going to leave it. And then what I'm going to do is go back and just blend the sides, the areas that didn't get blended, just gently. And you know you're supposed to come out in from the outside edge. I just don't want to wait. Now see there, I've messed up those two places. I know some of you are probably really great at blending. I really am just kind of too anxious to get it started, get it to cover. So we're just going to keep right on blending until we get a nice blended look there. And we're going to have more butterflies on top of this, so we're not going to worry. A real blending person would say, Peggy, you've messed up there, but I don't think it will be all that noticeable. We're just trying to get color in places where color was not. And even if you blend a little bit over the butterflies, it's really okay. These are the ones here that I kind of want to fix a little bit right in there. I think if you hear of a blending expert, let me know, or if you are one, because I'd like to watch a blending expert and kind of take some lessons. But you know, as with everything in Stampin' Up, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. And now we have our pretty butterfly that was our mask is now colored. Isn't that neat? And then we've got, I wanted to put a couple of other little butterflies, so I cut out two more. This allows us to really see what dies there are. There are these two little tiny dies. Thank you, Pam. Hi, good to see you. So I'm just going to kind of pat those. You don't even really need to do much. They're so small. And I don't want them to be darker really than my bigger butterfly. But also I'm going to do the back sides also, because we're going to prop up their wings a little bit, and people might see the underneath of their wings, and we want to make sure they're fully dressed. So we'll just put a little color down under there. And there we go. Now we have all three of our butterflies. You don't need a pad here like I am using. I'm only actually using it as not for the pressure so much as just for the background as a backing, so that the ink goes on it and not on my desk. Okay, so there are our butterflies and our blended piece, and let's start building our card. Alrighty, so we're starting out with a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we're going to add a beautiful piece of soft seafoam here as our full background piece. It's exactly the size of the card. I haven't pulled it in any as far as having, a frame or anything. We're just going to put this beautiful soft seafoam piece. I thought it went really well with the Flirty Flamingo color. And I'm going for soft, right? It's soft, it's spring, we want to be soft. Now I'm going to just tap that a little. Make sure everything gets pressed down. Isn't that, I love this color. It really is such a, softness is the whole thing today, softness. Now, I have a sweet little stitch scallop border for my blended piece. And I wanted to tell you it's cut from this die, which is one of the Stitched Be Mine dies. And it's wonderful for edges. And so I'm just going to move the card base out of the way. I have my edging piece right side up, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, tiny dots or a tiny little trail, because we want the stitching to show out from under the blended piece. And then I'm just going to set this piece, and I want it to be on the right edge. So I'm going to just set this right on top and below the stitching. And I cut the piece a little extra. It's a little bit longer. And I'm going to just pull that out just a bit. You know, sometimes it comes out perfect and sometimes not. I'm just going to try to pull it a little bit out. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll take our paper snips and snip that off. Isn't that a sweet look? I think that's just so, I just really like it. I just think it's a darling edging. And I'm really regretting my blending. I didn't do that great of a job in my blending. But you'll forgive me, I know you will. So we're going to put, you know, we're not going to put this piece. What we're going to do now is I have an extra piece that I embossed, a piece of basic white, and I embossed it with one of these little thin embossing folders from the Greenery. I think they're just called, it's a package of 2, and they're called Greenery embossing folders. And then I just cut, this is a little bit more than an inch, but an inch will do. And we can put it any direction we want. And I thought it just gave a little more, well, that space is pretty large, right? So I thought if we put this in, it'll look better. Just give a little, kind of fill in that space right there, right? So what I did before is I just placed it where I wanted it and held it, and then put some glue on the bottom. Hi, Carol, thank you. And put some glue, and then we'll turn it over and glue the other end. And that way, I was holding it right where I wanted it. So we'll just put some glue right down here. And there's our embossed piece. I think it just adds a little bit of texture and interest to the card. And now we're going to layer on our blended piece with Stampin' Dimensionals. We're going to raise it up a little bit, mostly because of the embossing here. And let's just, I like to put, on a piece that's this large, I like to put quite a few dimensionals so it really sticks, right? Little one's coming out. So I'm using 6 dimensionals, and then we're going to place it on there. Are you guys getting ready for spring? Let me know. I know I'm in a very wonderful area where it's not so cold, so I'm just thinking you're really, really ready for spring. Okay, now we've got our piece lined up with a scalloped edge on the right. And all we do, it's 5 by 2 3/4, so it's exactly the do you call it the length? It's exactly this size of dimension of the card. So there are our layers. I really like this look, the look of the layers coming out like that. And now we've got our sweet little butterfly that was our mask pattern. And we can just put him anywhere. And we've got the other two little baby butterflies. Let me pick one of those up. They're so tiny, and I like to fold them in half, and we're going to use mini dimensionals for each one of these little butterflies because they're so small. Even the bigger one we're going to. So let me get my mini dimensionals, and let's see where we want to place them. Because each pattern turns out differently based on how you do the mask, how you do the masking. So there is kind of a space there, but a little butterfly would go up there. So we kind of need to just vary the placement. And I kind of like that one there, and maybe we'll just put this one right back in there. Carol, you're really ready for spring in Michigan, but it's still early to hope for warmer temps are helping right now, though. Yes, Michigan, brr. It's those of us out here that can really encourage you when we see our daffodils already coming up, right? You can be super encouraged that the day is coming. It's coming. And our last day of frost, Allison, thank you, has passed here. Allison is a real big gardener, so I trust her on all matters gardening. Anthony's still cold in the UK, but when does spring start for you, Anthony? There in London. Is it different from this area, or does it start like by the end of this month? Let us know. Okay, so here are 3 little butterflies, a little heavier on the bottom, wouldn't you say? Just a little bit heavier on the bottom. So we might put our sentiment up top. Now for our sentiment, I love to use the well-written dies. Do you all, let me pull them out so I can show them to you, in case you haven't seen them. Here are the well-written dies. Look at that. You know, it's kind of hard to tell what the words are, so I have a little map kind of thing on the back. I wrote it down on a big Post-it. Hi, Sue, from the desert. Good to see you. And these are so pretty when they're die cut. And I loved the happy. So we're just going to use a happy, because it can be happy anything. Happy spring, happy day, happy graduation. I don't know if that would be a graduation card. But we're going to put a little backing behind it. This is one of my scraps, and you know I love the classic label punch. You know, I'm really looking out. The 24th of March is the day we hear all the retiring items, and it's the last chance. It begins the last chance time period where you can only get some things for a certain length of time, and that's the 24th of March here. So I'm hoping my classic label punch is not on the retiring list, because I love this thing. It's one of my all-time favorites. I think I say that every time I use it, so you've probably heard me say that. But I thought the happy just needed a little bit of substance, just a little something to sit on, you know, like that. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to go back to our trusty glue. Let me make sure I have this right side up. Okay. And our multi-purpose glue, and again, we're just going to put little dots. Oh, Linda, March 24th is your birthday. How fun. Happy birthday in advance. What a great day. Now I have a little goop there. I'm going to pull that out, because that helps the dots go on better. And the trick for this is, because this area is so small, you only want it for just the letters that are in the row, we're gonna have just the lowercase letters sit right on there. So we're not gonna put any glue on the top of the H or the bottom of the happy. And we're just gonna put little bits. And the nice thing is then you can hold it by the top of that H, right? Where you're not going to be putting any glue. Just a little bit, and stretch it out so you get, whoops, I went up a little. Oh, I shouldn't have gone on the bottom of the P. Bad me, I messed up. Okay, just on the Y. That's all that fits. And let me just try to wipe off the bottom of the P there. Sounds a little funny. Okay, now we're ready to just adhere the lowercase letters. And they fit really just right on that piece. And I'll just press down. Isn't that cute the way they look? I'm going to pull this up so that you can see it a little bit closer. Look at how well that fits. Isn't that neat? So now I think on our sample card we had the happy lower down, but I think on this one we're going to put it right in this area because it seems to be a little empty right there. So I'm going to get out my mini dimensionals again. The classic label punch fits mini dimensionals perfectly. The full size dimensionals are a little too much. And I'm only going to put a couple of them from the center back because I do like it when it hangs off a little bit. And since we have this piece up on dimensionals, we want to make sure the other piece is up there too. So we're just going to put that right on there. And there's our happy butterfly card, our blended butterfly card. Now a pro would probably notice my not so great blending, but I don't think normal people would, do you? I think it looks just pretty cute. And now we need to stamp on the inside of our card the way we always do. And here's one of the butterfly stamps. I've mentioned to you before that, where is my ink? Oh, over here. The butterfly stamp comes all together as one big piece like this. So I've gone ahead and cut it out so that I can use each one separately. But the advantage to using it together is there's one giant die that will punch them all out, just exactly like that. So I have already ordered my second butterfly stamp set. It's only $17, so that I'll have one to do with all together and could die cut with that big die, and one I've cut so that I can use the stamps just like this. And I like to look, when you cut them, the edges aren't quite as smooth, so I like to make sure it doesn't have inky edges. And these, look at how beautiful this stamp is. I mean, so much detail. Isn't that beautiful? And then we want to do this on our envelope also. I just think these butterflies are too beautiful to not stamp. You know what I'm saying? We've got to stamp them because they're such gorgeous stamps. Just look at how pretty that is. Carol, thank you. Thank you, Allison. The blending is good for the background. I think it works. I do want to get better at my blending though. So there's your card for today. Isn't that cute? I love it. And you know, I'll tell you, one benefit to doing the Facebook Lives is that I have to make one card beforehand as the sample, and then I make one here. So I end up with two of these pretty cards to send to friends and family, and I'm so thankful. So I hope you've enjoyed today's Facebook Live and this card, but I do want to remind you, do not forget about the in colors. Seriously, I'm telling you because I care about you and I want you to get what you need. If you need any of these products in these outgoing in colors, I'm not kidding, order them this weekend because I'm expecting within days that some of the inks and cardstocks and things will be gone. So fair warning. Alrighty, thank you so much for stopping by today. I enjoyed being with you. Have a great weekend and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.